What you doing?
I'm going to create a label for the ketchup bottle today.
Okay. You know you weren't going to use it.
Hello anybody, this is Blender Pretender, once again posting a Blender video for posterity, just having fun with Blender, and doing this because otherwise I'd be playing video games. So today I'm going to work on I'm going to continue with the scene that I'm working on, which is the 2.8 scene. Let me see if I can bring that up. I already downloaded, by the way, I downloaded Blender 2.8. It's this version right here. And let me get, what am I doing? How do I get, here, Blender. So let me start with Blender file, open. Let me adjust it first because it's off a little bit. We want every little pixel to show, right? So file, open. And okay, here's what happened is I worked during the week. I tried to record something like this. I spent about an hour on it, but I decided to record again. This is the weekend now. You can see by the date there, today's Sunday. But anyway, Blender 2.8 has the new, since I opened the scene, it doesn't really show here some of the stuff that's available. Oh, don't tell me it got hung up. But the new Blender, let me go file, new, general. It gives you all these other options. Like if you notice that file new, it gives you all these stuff, VFX, video editing. So that's cool. I went general and it's got these other workspaces over here. I'm going to guess that this one, no, that's for animating. There, I thought there was going to be a workspace associated with the grease pencil. But I don't see that, or it's not very apparent to me right now. But anyway, the grease pencil has some options that are kind of cool, and from what I've seen in some of the videos, and they will be, as far as I understand it, they will be posting some videos with, instructional videos on the Blender Cloud to show how to use the grease pencil. I think that would be an ideal thing to try to use to create a label. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to file save as. Let me go to my Blender Pretender, the trials, is 2.8, but I'm going to use a 2.79. I'm going to save it as that one. Actually calling it, I'm redoing some of the work. That doesn't matter. One of the things that I found when I was trying to record there midweek, that was Wednesday, and I decided just to ignore it, is that I spent plenty of time learning that when you add a text, let me just erase that, and I'm showing it right now just for the sake of being thorough. If I add a text object, right, there's a function 279 that curves that text to, it makes it follow a curve, and that can be found in the text options. And so I found, number one, that it doesn't do that. So geometry, target object, it's in here somewhere. No, not there, but text on a curve right here. So when you select the curve, it should deform to the curve, and it doesn't work for that. And there was another thing that I learned also. I'm drawing a blank right now, but it's just not. The modifier wouldn't work, so I applied a modifier to it, and it wouldn't work either. Not the text object, but a curve object. And let me add the curve object. So, for example, if I grab it in the X, and I added a mirror modifier on it, it just wasn't visible. It's not visible. Making sure, so it's not applying it, is what I'm getting at. So for that reason, I'm just going to go file new. I don't even know what the shortcut is for a new file, honestly. And so this is this Blender version, again, it's been reset. It's fully load factory settings. It's fully new. But I'm not going to be using this right now. I do plan to use it to apply the label, but so I'm going to minimize it. I'm going to work on 279, and I've already saved the file. And 279 obviously gives me the opportunity to work on or add the little intro video for the little caricature that I created. That's why I put the box over there. So when I start the video, I have to make sure that that box is moved as if the little character has kicked it. So I'm hoping to, edit that in at the beginning, which is not very, very hard. So again, Control Save. I already got it saved up. What I'm going to do is bring in the reference image and then Shift F10 here. Okay, there's that. Let me do this also. I just start the screencast keys. At least when I'm in the 3D view, it'll allow me to do the keys here. But here in the image editor, I'm going to open the reference images and then basically that bottle. So here's my plan. I've pretty much gotten used to using Blender since I'm not using, for the hobby stuff that I do, I just use the Bezier curves as vector curves and so on. And so my plan is to use the vector curves to create a label that then I'm going to use and basically generate an image file that I will use to texture the bottle, the label on the bottle. Okay, so it's going to follow something like this. So I have this as a reference. And here I will Alt-G, R, scale. Basically, I'm turning that camera. I'm moving it up 10. I was clearing all the rotations and scale, moving it up to 10. And in the camera settings, I'm going to turn it to an ortho camera with a 10 scale. So what that means to me is that, the longer dimension there has 10 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so it's 10 units. And in the, make sure it's 100 there. In the render settings, I'm just going to make it square. Okay, so everything's centered. I got rid of the light because I don't plan to use the lights. Excuse me. Okay, I'm trying to learn how to turn off the microphone when I have to do certain things such as sneeze or whatever. So, excuse me, I have to sneeze. Okay, so let me see. Move that one to layer 0 or the 10th layer. Still go in and out. And in the top view, in the ortho, I'm going to start adding a curve. The curve is going to be a Bezier curve. Tab in there, 7. I'm going to grab everything and then just move it over to the side. Now, I'm going to go into the view so I don't get too big when I'm drawing this. But just from the look of that, I'm going to draw a curve that basically follows this outline on the outside. So, holding the Shift key, I'm just going to guess. It looks like the grease pencil, but it's not. There. Okay. It may have added more points than I want. For example, that one, X, that vertex, and then this one, V, to make it free. Move it over here. Well, that's fine. What I'm going to do right now is take these two, go scale. That's fine. It's off the center. Scale Y 0. Take that one and clear it in the X to 0. That one as well. This seems to work pretty fine right here. Let me turn off the normals. They kind of bug me a little bit. And so this looks fine. This is also a free one. So this one, they just got to aim at each other. Like that. That's good enough. And it does have that little pointed edge right there, but not a whole lot. So I'm wondering if I should turn this one V aligned, or not V not automatic, but aligned, which is the L. and just make it really tiny. And then bring this one really high. By the way, right now, because I plan to make this a 2D curve. So in the curve properties, it's a 2D, and I'm filling both sides. So for this curve, since I'm there, might as well add the modifier. It's a little big, just from looking at it. And then see how it fills in. It's a little big. So I can, with the circle select, I grab it and bring it over. Yeah, it's not perfect, and that's fine. Right now, this looks fine to me. Make it a little bit bigger. And when you pull some of these handles way out here, what is not very apparent because I turned it off. Oh wow. Now I don't see the normals. The handles and the normals. Not noticed that before. Now I can't see the normals. Could it be because of the modifier? Find something new every time. So I turned off the normals on the curve, and now I can't get them back. The normals are important because, excuse me, I think I'm overdriving the microphone. The normals are important because they also show you if it has a twist. This is a 2D one, so it shouldn't. Maybe that's why. The normals will only show up if it's... Anyways, what I was getting at, if it's a 3D, because a 3D has a twist. A 2D, I guess they don't show them because there's only one normal, I suppose. I'd never come across that before. That's just to say I hadn't experimented with it. I don't spend my entirety working with Blender. Only for fun. Okay, anyways, what I'm getting at is really tight between here and so on and so forth. That's based on this... resolution right here. I believe it's that one. Let me see. If I go more, yep, I can see them changing as I move. And well, they show you more or less. So they get really tight in between here. And the other reason that I'm using 279 versus 2.8 is that when you're doing, I'll show later, when I'm doing the 3D ones, it doesn't show you the wireframe. I couldn't find a way to get the wireframe. And so I spent, which some people like them. I've been encouraged by some people saying, yeah, I really like the exploration of 2.8, but, we really want to draw. I feel, when I say we, I mean me. I want to draw, at least something of substance from the videos that I record. And I already spent an hour and I just found out a couple of things that I can explain like I am doing right now. And I can show it later with more clarity rather than spending an hour just going about it. Anyway, I think I erased the modifier because I wasn't used to the 2D thing. But here, put the mirror modifier on the X. I want to clip it. And here, turn it back to the 2D where it's just filled. So there's the background for my label. So there's no lights or anything right now. It should be filled. It doesn't look like it is, and that may be because it's got the modifier and it doesn't. I'm selecting that one. That's interesting. I'm going to separate it because it's got the modifier and it's not filled in or closed off. Let me guess. See, that has put a line in between these two, and now it's shaded. It's filled in. Now, I've not worked with a modifier on this much before, but I'm going to save it again. And I'm going to apply the modifier, see what happens with the clipping. I'm just interested. It's just, I'm learning things. Apply. Cannot apply constructive modifier on a curve. So it's even telling me there I can't apply it. Okay. Which is fine. I can keep this like this. And it'll work fine. So I don't have to get the modifier. I separated this one. Now I'm going to leave that as a curve, but that's the background. So I'm just going to call it label labor intensive. Label background. Did I spell that? Who cares? Background, just so that I know. Yeah, maybe I should respect, because when I do a search and I get a bunch of these, then I do a search for background, it won't come up. Background. Is that how you spell it? I can't think much right now. Anyway, the whole concept here that I do is basically take that one down, -10. In the ortho view, it still looks like it's in the same spot. In the Z, I'm using the Z value to, I'm using the Z value here to layer them. So I'm duplicating on the Z, and I'm going to go up 5. So I'm at the -5 right there, 7. Tab in there. Okay, now this one, I need to start making the golden ribbon that goes around there. So my plan, and it's a good plan, joking. Let me see, my plan is to, with the cursor where it is, I'm just going to scale it generally. With all the vertices selected, scale it. Now the thing about this is I can't tell because they're the same color, so I probably should Shift F3, start putting colors in there. I should be in cycles render. Let me see. So I'm gonna tab out. That one should be white, so I'm gonna go and create a new one. Home. Take that one, and it's going to be an emission. A shader, an emission, and it's going to be white, like it shows right there. Now I'm going to add an input light path. This is to make it what would be the equivalent of a shadeless shader, a mix shader. And if the ray is going to the camera, boom, I want it to be white. Otherwise, I want it to be transparent. So it doesn't emit. So then it doesn't emit to anything but the camera. So when I put the other ones around there, but mostly I'm going to be dealing with a shadeless materials. Okay, so the other one is a copy, right? What I'm going to do is add another color on it, and I'm going to take that material. Well, that material is, I'm going to call it white. Just keep it simple. And I'm going to create its own new one. I'm going to call this one gold. Keep that one simple. And then here, not there, here. Make sure that one's all the way to the top. Yeah. And here, I'm going to go to like a goldish color. Right there. And there, we can see the gold color. Okay, save again. The problem is, so, I'm trying, I'm getting confused already. Material there. With the Z, I really hope that the whole, view thing is fixed. So I'm going to scale in the X. Scale X. Because I'm not going off that cursor. Okay. Scale. Sorry. Period on the keyboard. Scale X. It's a peanut butter sandwich is what it is right now. It's a very artistic way of showing a peanut butter sandwich. Grab X. And then here, Shift F10. These are pointed edges. Even though the background label has a little bit of a curve, they're pointed edges. So these have to be free. V free. There. So that goes like that. Yeah, they kind of stick all the way down here. And so is this one. V. There. I wonder if this works right here. If I choose these two and I go Control Alt Spacebar, did it create a new orientation? Let's see, transform orientations. I have curve. The reason for that is no, it's like way crazy. So it doesn't. The only reason I bring that up is the best way to line these, I'm eyeballing it, which is perfectly fine. But I was just exploring if I wanted something more perfect, right? I'd have to, let me go Z, tab in there. With the snaps, it's not snapping to the vertex because it's not selected. So there, that line is on. This is just a helper. I'm adding that as a helper, but I'm snapping to those two. So for example, that line, and I'm just exploring things right there. Now I've got that Y axis right there on that transform orientation. And in this one, if I wanted to line those up perfectly, well, I can choose these two. Let me see if I can choose these two and then go scale, Shift Y, Y, and then, so they're scaling off of that Y. Oh, it's on the, off of the cursor there. So Shift Snap U there. So again, scale, Shift Y, Y. I can see something happening there, but I'm going to go 0. Now, I'm only doing this for experimentation, but they should be lined up perfect, right? Not Shift Z. Well, Alt Z doesn't get me there either. There's ways here to see the colors, but I really want that one. Okay. That was just something going over, you know, little side things there. Delete. There. In Blender Pretender land, this is a perfect line, even though it's more at an angle. It's sloping down in this direction more than it is here, but that's okay. It could get, and it's not really okay because it could get exaggerated. And so I get to eyeball it. It could get exaggerated by the time it wraps around the bottle. So that looks good to me. There. Save. This one's a little out. Take that one. Grab in the X. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, this, I hope with the mirror it works this, but I got everything right. So I'm going to go Shift duplicate it, P selection, tab. So I can't really see if I'm selecting one or the other, except that here it should tell me, or not just here, but here, right? Where is it? Item. So as I click and select, that's the thing about the screencast keys. There was a subscriber who asked about the screencast keys. And I found it from, I inherited it. I think when I started using Blender, it came with Blender. I think it was a 2.76 or something like that. Maybe not. I can't remember. But I looked into it, and ultimately you need to go and get it. Sometimes it shows, sometimes it doesn't. Like when you're holding Alt to do the selections or things like that, it just doesn't. Hey, look at that. Never came across that either. In the edit mode, when you hold Alt, it appears to give you a selection of the two compiled ones. And usually I just click until these buttons tell me which one I want. It doesn't matter, they're the same. One of them is gold. Gold ribbon. The other one is whatever, because I plan to take everything. I centered the cursor so that off the cursor I can scale it. So a little bit of a problem there because it's really exaggerated on the Y, scale Y. Rather, I'm going to deselect these and then scale Y. I'm eyeballing it right now. I'm going to go to that view there. No, that doesn't give me anything. And of course, little cleanup stuff like this needs to happen. I just find it easy moving these handles. I use the pen most of the time, and that's because I just don't want to use the mouse. Because, grab away. Because too much clicking, too much at work, too much here, and so I use the pen. Save, tab. What I'm going to do is join them. Control. And then let's see what happens. I see something weird happening here. That's probably because of the modifier, but as long as it... Yeah, that's not good. And that's fine, because here's what I can do is go to the modifier. I couldn't apply the modifier. Obviously, it tells me no. I hadn't come across that because I just hadn't worked on that before. But these vertices should really be on the X equals 0. They are. What I'm going to do is select these two and then X the segment. The same with that one out here. Okay, now I don't need that transform orientation. I was just messing around and showing. Oh, I'm going to select all these vertices out here, not the center ones. Duplicate them, and then Control M on the X, enter. Okay, now I select these two and fill them. And the same with that, and the same with this one. Okay. So now it's working. The mirrored. It's kind of thick. The ribbon is thick on this side. Should I make it thicker here? What's most work? I'm thinking, what is more work? Grabbing these and then just grab Y to give it that visual. Take these and then now Control comma, scale them in a little bit. Try to give it that look that looks like it's uniform. It does. It's not perfect. And every time I do the scales, even though I'm choosing that center one, it's also scaling the handles in a, also whatever way the scale works. So for example, I can choose these two and then scale and do things like that. But then I'm moving them in unison, also grab. Okay. there's my label for that, and that's pretty much it for that. Letter. Oh, there's another one. Oh no, there's another one. How do I fix that one? There's a green one. Do I want a green one? I suppose I do. I should have two objects, but I'm going to duplicate one. This one I'm going to do it in object mode. Yeah, it's too big. So I'm just going to call it green ribbon. I'm going to tab in and just get rid of Control L to select everything there. Get rid of the outside one. V. And now this, I don't think it works. If you go Alt, it did something. It selected the other object. But I don't think it works the same as the vertices. It does. Selecting that one and then Alt over here to here. Okay. XV, it does. Do I have two objects here? No, it's one. What am I seeing? Tab. Okay, one here. Okay. So it's working. I need that one for guidance. I'm going to hide that one because it's bugging me. Now, I need that outside one for guidance. This is the one that I need to work on. So this is probably just easier to move it like this. No, that's too much. It's kind of close. Oh, okay. Now I see this is round here and it's kind of jagged there, not jagged, but an acute angle there, and then it's round over here. I didn't do that. So that's VL and rotate it, scale it in, right around there. Okay. Should have done it for both of them at the same time. VL, rotate it, scale it in even more, and grab it and get rid of the snap there. Too much. And then grab that one. So it's just a matter of working with it until you're happy. Alt H just so I can see how it looks. Nice and round. Now the green one. Needs to mimic the same thing. I'm going to make it more easier for me because I'm already getting confused with some of these lines. Let me hide that one. Not confused, but for example, the lines are just superimposing or whatever. Okay, here's what I'm going to do is take these. Well, I'll just do the whole thing. The whole side again. X, V. Shift, duplicate. Control M. on the X. Period, so it goes to the center. The cursor is at 0, 0. Control M, X. And I'm going to erase the segments and go back and did what I did earlier. Doesn't look very thick right here. Actually looks thin right here. That's okay. No, that's fine. So probably scale it in. That looks thicker. Grab Y. I'm just trying to make it more uniform in thickness. Now it's more uniform. The unfortunate thing with that is that I have to do the whole thing over again. Right now I'm just hitting Control to X, V. Now I got these X segments. So I'm going to period, Shift C, and then A, Shift duplicate, Control M on the X. Oops, Control Z. Z on the duplicate. Did it go on the duplicate? We'll see right now. Yes. Okay. The reason I undid that is because I copied both of these. Shift duplicate. Okay. So that's the ribbon on the outside ribbon, gold ribbon. Save. I'm going to take that one, duplicate it, rename it as the green goblin ribbon. Green ribbon. Tab in here. So, ran out of pad. There, XV. Maybe I should just X the segments, huh? It'll keep it unconnected. X segment. Okay. Again, off the period. Scale in the X. No, A. Scale X. Again. Then scale Y. It would have been the same as just doing a scale. Normal? Not really, because I'm doing more, way more on the Y, or less, or whatever. Okay. And take these. It's pretty thick. The border, I mean, is pretty thick right now. So I'm going to select those two because I need to correct this curve. I'm going to use the individual origins. Well, I'm going to select these two right here and rotate them. And scale them. Actually, that one should scale down. Okay. So, how am I going to fix this? Off the center there, Shift Snap U. I'm going to select these two. No, this one and this one. I need to hit the period so it scales there, like that. So it's a lot thinner. So I'm going to go, it was 4.46, just so I can remember the number. You select that one again and Shift, nope. I don't know why Shift R didn't do that. Shift R should repeat the last one. Oh, it repeated the last scale. .46. U. Snap U. And then this one, scale 0.46. Same here. I don't want to scale the inside one, just the outside one. 0.46. Maybe I should have done the inside one on this one. Control Z. Nah, that didn't work either. Right now I'm messing around with it just to see if I can actually get it to be rounded. There. And that one scale 0.6. What I do, Control Z, period to be off the cursor, scale 0.46. It's not closed off yet, that's why it's not showing up. But should be about half the size of the other one. It's not as close, as tight up as it should be. Oh, what am I doing? I'm deselecting these right here. And then Shift. So period, Shift C. Duplicate, Control M in the X. Face. Yeah, this is not going to work as nice because these handles aren't the same length. I'm making sure that these are flat. Scale on the Y, 0. Same here, scale on the Y, 0. I still can't see. Oh, because they're not filled in yet. These should work fine because these are flat already. There. So there's two labels. Very clear that here it needs work on top. Maybe some more over here. And that is fine. It's just some of the stuff that I need to do. Okay, where was I? I took a little break to get a drink, and let me see. I need to give it a color. Let me make sure that Shift Z. Okay, it's looking like there's a couple of things that are looking. Number one, I need to get a color, but it's a little fat on the white border. The gold border is also a little fat, and then this green one, the one that's going to be green, is too thin. Little things that I can work and worry on a lot, but not really. The only reason I'm doing it like this right now is because I'm going to change the text. I'm going to do other stuff here. So all I really wanted, and I'm spending time, is to do the shape and then the words that basically just come out of what I have an idea it should say. So obviously it needs a cleanup up here. And I need to be in this here, and because it's not, grab Y, not good, and then in the individual origins, which that's where I am, scale. And basically just clean all these up a little bit, just so that it doesn't look so so like it doesn't belong. I will mirror it here in a minute. So that one's a little too much. And it is thin right here. I'm just going to grab it. I actually have a button now that I can press to turn off the audio when I need to clear my throat or sneeze or anything, which is what I've been doing. Kind of cool. Okay. This is just eyeballing now, all the... And that's good, I think. I always find myself going into all these little details like these, you know. And I can go on for, you know, stuff like this can be moved and moved around over and over and over again. Never really reaching a satisfied end. For me, that's pretty good right now. Maybe that one a little bit bigger up here. It really should be there. There. That's a good eyeball. This one's still fat because I haven't mirrored it. And now what I need to do is I'm going to I lost it. Let me see. Use the circle select to grab all these at a time and just get closer. Again, just by the look. I could flatten these out perfect, but I don't care. With the individual origin selected, I'm going to rotate this one just a little bit. There. I didn't get all the other stuff. So deselect everything, select that, and rotate these. Come on, what's going on? No. Did I do a scale? So rotate. Nope. That ain't working. Why isn't it working? Well, I'm just gonna grab them then. It's Y, along the Y. So what I was doing is just making it closer, making sure that some of this looks uniform. Tight, it's tight right here, opened up right here, those kinds of things. I'm deselecting everything, selecting these. And I'm using the grab. And then there. And I go to the render preview just to check it out. So I'm liking that a lot better. Okay, I'm liking that a lot better, but it needs to be green. So Shift F3, and that is the green ribbon. And what I need to do is add another material. Just call it green. Green. Call it green. And go into that color right there. Shift F10 to get back in there. It's a little darker on the green. So Shift F3. So saturate it some and then just bring it down there. Okay. Now the gold is a little thick, but I'm gonna leave it like that. What I'm going to do is select, use this selector right here. No, right, wrong one. Use this selector right here and Control X, Control Z. I don't know what I just did. X, I did Control X to dissolve. That's why I went crazy. The segments. I selected everything, but I'm going to get rid of these two. And with the period selected, Shift C, make sure I'm centered. I'm going to duplicate, Control M on the X, enter. And then take these, face F, and do the same with these. Did I get it right? There. Okay. I can fix the border. The border, Shift F, wrong one, Shift F10. The border seems a little tight, but it's just the label that gets cut out. So it's kind of fat here, but I'm going to leave it until the end when I'm done with the other stuff. So that's pretty much what I wanted to mimic off the label, because that's going to give the impression that it's the same label that everybody's used to. I'm just going to delete that one now. And okay, now I need to check and make sure that that green one, it's not in the way, but I'm going to move it up, grab Z1 anyway, just so that it layers, make sure that it layers in there. In terms of the scale, it looks good. I can take everything and scale it up, but I'll continue with the scale that I have right now, just so I fill in most of the pixels. And if it doesn't, I could always scale down the camera. Okay, so it's got the text that goes around here. I'm a little bit more curved. That's fine. It looks a little bit more exaggerated on mine. That's fine too. So what I need to do now is add snap. I'm snapping the cursor to that and then bringing it up to -3. So here I'm going to add the text. Where is the text? So the text itself, I'm going to move the reference over like that. Maybe like that. Okay. The text itself needs to be justified center. center, center. I think that's what I want. Yeah, center, center. I can always adjust it a little bit here, but what I need, so now that the cursor was a little bit, well, it's in the center, -3. Going to add also another curve. So I'm going to take the curve. How am I going to do this? I'm just eyeballing it. I'm making more things more difficult. There. There. And I just wanted to curve down. So that point is at, it's already at y5, -0.5, so it's a 0.5 there. It should be somewhat of a normally arching curve. And then grab in the y. Now that text, it's going to have to be black, so since I can't see just about, because it's on top of the white, I'm going to give it the color now, a new one, and that one's going to be black. Enter. And Shift F3. Maybe I should have just duplicated the other color. So let me just, holding Shift, I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to duplicate the green into the black. Okay. There. That's so I don't have to do all this other stuff where I'm adding all the labels and stuff. Right there. Okay, black text. And the text is on a curve. Where's the little dropper? Object text on a curve. There. Well, first let me see how it's going to read. So it's going to read minds. It's going to read minds. Scale it down a little bit like this. Now, I've done in previous videos, which I've been posting since I've been doing things wrong. I'm still doing things, not entirely the way they should be. And one of the things that I found out the hard way, just not paying attention, is that already this text has a parent association because of the fact that it's curving on there. So there's like I'm calling it a parent association. I really don't know that that's what it is, but it's basically this text is being modified by that curve through some sort of association that tends to work on like a parent-child relationship, I think, because what I've done before is taken text, done that, and then I wanted to move both of them at the same time, and not mess around with certain things. And what I did is I parented the curve to the text, which is wrong because this one already has an association where it's dependent on information from this one. And if you take that one and parent it to this one, then that one is taking information from this one. It becomes like a circular loop. That's the best thing that comes to my mind. Just like if you work with an Excel spreadsheet and you put a reference that says this number is based on these other two numbers over here, and then those other two numbers are based on the same number. Well, it's a circular loop. You can't really have a solution for that. All that just to say that I'm going to do Control P to the curve object. So now you can see the parent line there, but I'm going to move the curve instead of the text. It's a little too curved. So I'm going to tab into the curve. Maybe I'll just uncurve it by grabbing those two. Grab Y. There. Tab. And then I'm going to scale the curve off of its center. And then grab it some more. And then scale. It's not on the center for the X. So that's Control Save. So that is the brand of ketchup that I have. And let me go Shift F10 over here. It's very bold, so I need to find a bolded Arial text, really, and then work with that. So there's a text selected. Okay, and the fonts with the previews here. I wonder how it looks with that. Just real quick. Mines, not really. I could be on for hours hitting these things. I think this is the Arial. No. Well, it's kind of bold. Let me see how that looks. Okay, that looks better. Mines. Actually, it fills in right pretty good. So that's fine. And it seems to curve okay, but maybe a little bit less. Oh, come on. Without the snap, grab Y. Tab, grab Y. There. Okay. Now I need the text at the same elevation of the cursor. Dimensions. There, I'm still in the right place. Shift, add another text. And this one is going to say, let me get out of the preview then. I'm going to say since. I'm going to leave the simple text. No, this has to be this is going to be like a it's like a Roman type of text. Since, tab out. Why do I have to go here all the time? Okay. That one works fine. Not even going to look more. There, since. And no, I'm going to justify that center as well. Center puts it right in the bottom. That's fine. Grab in the Y, scale. I'm going to hit this one here and it will control link the material. I think I want to leave it all caps. Nope. Scale this one some more. Since, oh, I forgot, this is red. So the material can't be linked. So plus red. In here, I don't have to go and open up the window the way I normally do. I can change it here. Make it dark red. There. Okay. Scenes. Now this is 1869, and so this bottle is since right now. So I have two options. I think this is the thing that I'm going to adopt for the sake of dating my things. You know how a lot of businesses will say, I've been established, since whenever. I've had the opportunity to work with some people that they tell me I've been working on this for 40 years, and they look to be like 50. I'm like, okay, well, you've been working since you're 10. It's just one of those things, it's like the longer I've been working at something, the more reputable or more whatever, more points for experience I have. And in this case, I'm going to start with the date today is 9/23. So I can say that this brand has been established since 9/23, which is kind of ridiculous because it's like the year 9/23. Now I could say 23/09 in a reverse order from a day to month, but that would be in the future. I don't want that. So there's an 18 there as well. So I'm going to say since 1809 because 09 is correct. And I'm not lying if I say this because it really is since 1809. That means, of this year, 2018, right? Not the year 1809. Okay. Since 13. 1809. No. I need to duplicate it in the Y tab. And scale it up because it's too small. It's probably too bold. There. I beat that label by 60 years. It's a little too big. So scale that down a little bit more. Maybe that one. Instead of saying established, I'm just going to say since. Grab Y. Since 1809, Mines has been making, and instead of tomato ketchup, I'm going to say that it's been making, okay, for that I need another text that has the same as this one, right? So, duplicate in the Y. Alt P, I'm going to clear the parent, and I'm going to get rid of the curve modifier. And I'm going to say that this is vegetable paste. Vegetable paste. Okay. Scale, grab Y. Minus tomato ketchup. 57 varieties. I'm going to scale this one. Wrong one. That one, scale in the Y. It also needs to scale in the X. So just generally scale it. Vegetable paste, the spacing for the line. It's fine. Did I spell vegetable right? Vegetable? I'll look it up. When I do a little pause, Mines, vegetable paste. Yeah, Mines and tomato are about the same size. Okay, Control save. That's good. Then so many varieties, and what else does it say? Okay, Shift C. I need it to be in here because what I'm going to add is another text. Well, let me duplicate that one. Shift. Now this one is the gold color. The gold color is too yellow, so let me just work on that for a little bit. I'm basically just moving around looking for something that might be something close to this, like that color right there. If I do the dropper, I can get that color right there. It might not be, so it might need more color. So with the shift held down, I'm looking for more color. Okay. It looks a little dull to me. It's not as saturated as it should be. The green should be a little darker, probably. No, not really. Okay. Vegetable paste. I think it should still be a little more color. Right there. Okay, so the same gold color is going to be this one. Materials. There's 57 varieties. Come on. Tab out. Select that one. Tab in. This one is not 57 varieties. This is digital variety. 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 No, I'm not going to call it digital variety. I'm going to call it, well, I'm going to say variety, but I'm going to call it N. That needs to be a small n. Nth variety. But it doesn't work that way. So I'm going to call it caps. That is in caps, variety. Right? I'm going to use varieties, but this will be not T's, but the actual variety. This one needs to be a little less. A little less as bold. So there in the font. Which one did I choose? I'm going to go with that one right there. Okay, variety. Now I'm going to scale it. Scale in the Y. And shift duplicate in the X. Just back, space, caps, use the N. Tab, shift, duplicate, again. Tab, TH. Tab, scale that one down. Okay. Nth variety. meaning every render is going to be a different variety. So this will be the nth variety. Grab X just to center it a little bit more. Grab X a little bit more. And it is somewhat of italicized. I wonder if that works if I hit this. Nope. No, it doesn't work. How do I italicize text? That's interesting. I'm drawing a blank right now. If this doesn't work, doesn't want to do it, maybe I need to choose the same font. What is that again? Let me make it bigger. Andalus. Whatever that is. Nope. I've not worked. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, no, it's the right one. Position, thickness, small caps, so on. Yeah, don't know. In a previous, I'm trying to make that nth bigger, so scale. In a previous video, grab X. What I did was put a, I forgot what I did. I put a, was it a lattice? I added a lattice to it to deform it. Like for example, if I were to take that, I'm experimenting right now, and add a lattice. Where is the lattice? I need to select an object. Do I? So that's being applied to this. I need to select an object to act as a lattice. Is that how it works? Do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh, Control Z. Shift snap U, Shift add a cube. Tab scale in the every single dimension almost possible. Scale in the Z. Let's see what happens here. Scale X. Okay, let's see what happens. Nope, well, I failed to set value. So it has to be a lattice object, I imagine, which it just occurs to me, it's right here. So get rid of that cube. Okay, well, that's fine. It's got so many, Blender has so many options, you have to relearn them, right? There's the lattice object, A, scale, and the Z. I just need it to be very, very thin. Scale in the Y. Grab Y. Scale X. Okay, back to this. Take that object. Boom. Uh-oh. It did something. Scale Y. It's already doing something, and I don't know why it's doing that. But again, nope, not working. It's off the center, that's why. I wonder if this works. If you do that to origin to geometry, if that works. I've not worked with a lot of the lattices a lot, but it's scaled to 1. The lattice itself I'm talking about. Anyway, tab, scale in the Y. I may be screwing everything up because it's off the center, but anyway, let me see what happens then if I take that and grab those and move it over. There. What happens if I take that one and I add the same modifier and choose that one? So it doesn't really have to be right on top of it, it looks like to me. I probably should have covered everything in the lattice, within the lattice. I see the center's going all the way over there. Nth variety. That's good enough right there. Control, save. It's not really bold, but that's fine. Mine is bold. I mean, italicized. This is not, only the 57 is italicized. So the next thing that I've got is basically a plant. A little plant and leaves. So it doesn't get too, it's already into an hour and a half. Is I have to draw a plant and leaf. That's fine where the cursor is right now. 7. Put it right here. Shift, add. Make sure that it's on 0. The wrong one. Control Z. So I added another curve. Let me see how that does that. It basically comes off of that corner and goes around. Scale in. Control Z. What did I do? I think I did a Control X. Nope. Control Z. I did something. I hid it maybe. I don't know. And for this curve, I'm going to make it a 3D, a full. Let me give it a depth. That looks good. Give it. That's fine. My computer can handle it. So now using Alt S, I can change some of these. Which is the same as changing a parameter here. I think it's the radius. I'm using Alt S. Some of these, it's basically the radius of the what do I call it? Let me see, Z, if I can show it. It's the radius of the tube that gets constructed around that curb. So Z, tab, this one and this one, Control L for materials. So it just comes out like that. Another one here, another one there, and then some leaves. And then another one over here. Okay, tab in on the wrong object. So using the shift, there's the one that goes to the tomato. Let me see, there's the one that goes to the leaf. And another leaf over here. Okay. get rid of that. Normals. Get rid of that vertex to nothing. And bring this one so it's coming out. That's good. Control X. Rotate this one. Alt scale. Alt scale again. So is that one. Control X. And scale this one again. Grab it. Okay. That's looking something like that. This is a little thin. That's fine. I want the leaf to take up some of that space in here. And yeah, there you go. I can use, they don't have to be the same size, the leaves, but it's going to take some of that space in there and then do whatever it needs to do over here. What I do see that I don't like now, it's going to change everything, is that it needs to go up more. There. There. Control link and grab that one in its entirety. So maybe. Yep. Okay. Proportionally though, this one needs to come over here and make it smaller. Okay. That's looking better. Coming out of there. Now I got to make a leaf and duplicate that leaf over a couple times. And then just change the scale because I don't want to put, I don't want to go over the 2 hours, even though I'm going long. Okay, Z, tab out. I'm still in the right place with the cursor. Add another curve, another Bezier curve, tab. I'm going to just delete those vertices. Get in here. I'll just do it here. So like the first leaf is holding the shift is like that. Looks like a flame. Let's get rid of these normals. There. Too exaggerated. Let's see. All of these need to be free. Be free. Be free. Control X. That's okay. This one's free. Okay. V free. Oh, it changes it around. V free. So I may have undone that one. I didn't know it toggled it. Oh yeah, it already is. Okay. So XX. I'm just making stuff up right now. There. Scaling it over. Now what I can do is start looking at how it's going to look by going 2D both, tab out, control link the materials. Okay. Wrong one. Tab in here. It looks like, it doesn't look like a leaf. Not a leaf. Period. Scale. Maybe I should have kept one here. W subdivide. V free. There. Is that a tomato leaf anyways? I don't even know. So in object mode, I'm grabbing it over and rotating it. Yeah, that's good enough. I'm going to choose that one right there. She's a snap U, tab, and origin to 3D cursor. Scale it up a little bit, grab it some more in here. Shift, duplicate it over here, and off of its center, rotate it, and scale it down. Let me duplicate that one. Oh, come on. Duplicate that one again. It's got a couple, but I'm just going to add a few. What I need is a variety now. Tab. Let me see if I can grab that one, give it the proportional editing, and just do a grab like that. Rotate it. Rotate it some more. That one's right on top of that one. Shift, duplicate that one. Tab. Again. Maybe do that. And then take all of these and they'll Control M on the X. Very close. Very close. That seems to balance it a little bit in terms of visual weight. I'm not going to worry about the little one that sticks out there. Control save. Now here, I'm going to go into the wireframe tab. Shift snap U. I'm going to add a mesh, a sphere. I'm going to try something different here. All this is a shadeless material and all that. Am I doing this right? Not 4, but let's go 16. No, let me go instead 8. 8. Make it okay. Select everything, rotate on the X. And then is it 90? Doesn't matter. Negative or positive, doesn't matter. 7. Scale it down. That's the tomato. So the tomato's in here. The reason I went for this as a tomato is because I'm going to select with the proportional editing on and then just scale them. Scale and just give it the shape, more or less. Grab Y. I'm trying something different. More or less like that. And then that one too, grab Y. Maybe make it bigger. And grab everything. And then scale Y. Okay. That seems to work. Now I'm going to rotate everything on the X a little bit. Grab Y and then Control 2. Okay. So that it looks like it's hanging there. Let me see. So it still needs the leaves around there. I wonder if I should model them or just draw them. Probably faster to draw them than to model them. But I was going to try a couple of things right now, in that if we look at this, it seems to have, some other, shaded qualities. In other words, as shadows and so on, versus the rest does not. And I was thinking, how can I quickly mimic that? One of the ways that I can do that, well, first let me select the tomato, and then let me give it a color, a new one. And this is red tomato. I'm going to call it tom because it's just red. How many times do I have to spell red? I already have a red. Where's the red? What am I using red for? Oh, yeah, the lettering. Okay, I'll keep the red then. So just delete that one and go with the red. Control save. Okay, there's the red. So 7, 5. Okay, what I need to do then is go back and add a light. I'm going to hit 3 and put the light there. 1. So the light is going to have to mimic. So maybe over here, Shift, add a lamp. And I'm going to do a point and then just give it a bunch of intensity. So I do need to give it its own distinct color. So red, tomato red. I'm going to call it tomato red. The reason for that is that it's not a shadeless M. So that mutes all of these. Is this muted or not? Does it even need to be muted? I suppose it is. And it's not an emission, Shift S. It is a diffuse. There. Okay. Shift F5. Okay, and it's black because of what? All right, well, let me just select them all and go Control. There. It is black. Oh, because the light intensity, I can barely see the color. It might not come through. But Shift F5. The light is too far off. grab. You can barely see some of the stuff there, and here I'm going to give it 1, 2, 3. There. So I'm going to go with 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, more. 8, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now it's too bright. It's too bright, too shiny. So what I'm trying to get from this is Shift F3 is wrong one. And the Z, select that one. So it's got to diffuse. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just switch it to principled, just because I got used to using that one. And then this one, I'm going to give it, I'm just bringing down the roughness to give it a shininess. W. No, okay, so it's not in there. I forgot. I need to give it the smooth shading. Okay, there it is. Just slightly there. Looks like an apple. Okay, maybe there. And what I'm going to do is try this. I tried it before, but it's a vector, is it? No. Converter. The color ramp. The infamous color ramp. It's not changing anything. Now I want to take the color from here and okay, and then the white is fine. So let me remember how this happens. I'm taking this, what I'm trying to do is give it a contrast. A contrast that is not, that is a little bit more. Now I muted that one, now I get nothing. Wonder why. Huh. Converter color ramp. If I shove it in there, boom. It takes, I'm trying to get the contrast between this. What's going on? What am I doing wrong? I just pick buttons. When in doubt, just pick the buttons. Hitting M should mute that color ramp. And I'm still not getting the result. That's very interesting. Okay, Shift. Do I have to add a shader, mix shader? What is it going to mix? It's going to mix this color. No, I don't see it. So in other words, based on what factor is it going to mix this color? Black to completely that color. And if I add the color ramp as a factor, but it's mixing it with what? What? I'm going to have to pause and experiment. Okay, so I am always full of it, I suppose, in the sense that when it comes to the cycles, I've always said I just mess with things. I just push buttons, insert noodles and all that, just for the sake of getting a result. And so the result that I want here, this has to be an emissive, a shader that has to be an emission shader. What I did is I went back and I looked at how I created the texture for, or the color for, the little cartoon caricature that I've done. So and so that's what I was getting confused. In other words, it doesn't have to be an emission here. I can switch this to get the like the tune shader. So like I can do that right there, and that starts giving me some of the stuff that I want. I've not worked with a tune shader at all. I didn't like it when I was working with the little cartoon that I did, because it depends on the lights. And so even though I added a light here, I just didn't remember exactly how I did that. But ultimately, where's the light? So I can bring the light closer. So it might be overpowering because I probably saved that number as a real high number, but let's go to 100 or something like that. To start off from the zero, right from the, not the zero, right from the, I'm using the wrong terms. Start off from where it starts, 100, from the reference. So it's depending on the light, and that's what, I guess that's when I can just simply do that for the two tones that I have. What I was doing earlier, I was trying to go off of my memory and off of what I was doing, and I guess I'll just do it here. Hopefully it doesn't make the video too long, but what I was doing was trying to reproduce the cartoon color that I did, and that's emission. And you add the color ramp before here. So I went back and looked at all the stuff that I did there, and that's got a lot of stuff that I added to the material for my cartoon. But it's a color ramp in here, and so I guess I just got to show it. I feel like I got to show it just to save some face, but the truth is that I don't. I just look for results here. And then here, what I added, what I have is a, no, where is it? So I have to go through here and find it. I'm looking for the texture coordinate. I can't remember where. Is it in here? Okay, it's this one in here. So I can do the object in here. Okay. Now, the way I did my cartoon, my little cartoon character, is I really need to give this one a color. Well, then maybe I'm going to get one of the darker reds in here that are in here. Already, I can see here that it's doing something here with the color ramp, and it's using the object coordinates. The reason I'm using the object coordinates is because I can select an object for the coordinates. Otherwise, I can do some of the other options that are here. Let's see what happens with reflection, that kind of stuff. But here, let me put that object, Z, and then here, snap U. I'm going to add a empty, that is a sphere. And I'm going to use that sphere to move this stuff around. And let me see. Yeah, I think that works. So I can start moving around where one color and where the colors are going to show. So selecting this one, what I really want is, well, let me choose that one. And on this one, I'm going to make it darker. I'm going to grab that one again. Okay. Oh, Z. Let me see. Let me bring it over and let me go. There's hardly any difference that I can tell there because I'm going to go to constant. Now I need that one. Okay, now I'm having trouble figuring out why it's not showing to the front here. So I'm going to add one. I'm going to add one here. Let me turn that one white. Just so I can see it over here. Let me see, it's probably facing to the back or something. Because I'm rotating it right now off the top view. Rotate in the Y. Just no, not really. It's all coming across the same. So hitting R twice helps me moves the thing all over the place, but it's not doing it right. Okay, let me see. Back to the start. Since I stopped the video to do my research, I didn't start the screencast keys. I wonder if they'll come up if I use over. I can. I don't want to go off on a tangent here. So back to that one. Okay, it's emitting that color. Yeah, I was just way too far up there in the color ramp. So I may need something to modify the numbers. Not too used to doing the math node here. I'm not sure what a math node would do to these numbers right here. But the way I've done it previously, and that's how my cartoon character is I add a bump, a normal. Where is it? It's one of these normal one here. Using that, which is the black and white, whatever, out of that one. And so this one, you can move it around like that. But it's very counterintuitive, I think, because when it goes backwards like that, you don't know what's going on. And so what I did for my cartoon character is I move this one, I drive that one with an object. But it's kind of difficult because this gets modified in a different way, I suppose. It's not a normal rotation type of thing that just transferred over. But I spent the time because I like this kind of stuff that you can do with a color ramp here like this. So for example, I'm going to stick to this right now just for the sake of finishing. But the object, if I had used the object, in other words, mute that and go back to the empty. Right there. It's a lot easier when you're in manipulating stuff to just move the empty. And there's, for example, there's the empty. You have to go back and forth anyways. In other words, back and forth between these two windows. And that's kind of like a bit of a, Control X of a problem. So really what would be ideal is that you can just, change it by moving this stuff around. And just point as to where it's going to be shaded versus the color. And right now I'm still trying to figure out how to get that white to show. Oh, come on. This is 5, 7, 5. Okay, there. That's good. And trying to see when the white shows up. Right there. Right there. So they're all stacked over here to the left in this case. And so I probably have to see how I can move the whatever value is coming in here, change it just ever so slightly so they're more towards the center or more distributed. But I'm not worried about that right now, other than just, talking and talking. So here it can be seen that, I'm talking about the reference image, that it's got a bit of a glow and it does have some shade, some shadow, I'm sorry, but the shadow itself is not very much. So more like that, and then this one more like that. Okay, and I'm going to leave it at that. There, it's gone. As soon as I move it just a little bit, it's gone. I can always do this right here and try to move it slightly like this. Let's try this one. No. That one, it like eases in, cardinal ease. And of course there's the linear one. But no, I want the constant one. So I'm going to save that. Shift 9, Shift F5. Let me see how this looks. It actually doesn't look very good here. And it's already on the smooth shading. Control 3. No, it doesn't look very good. I could see the edges. Let me go back, Shift F5. Zoom in here, Shift F3. And it might be a function of what I just talked about. Not making it fully white. So a bit of a drawback there. What I'm getting at is I've already spent too much more time doing this that I could have just drawn it the way I've been doing the other stuff. If you zoom in, you can always see that some of these are also a little bit jagged. They're not perfect. But when it renders out, it should be okay, except that this might show up, but who cares? Whenever it renders, the bottle renders, might not even be able to notice that. But here I can see it. It's nice and smooth over here, but not so much here. I'm not entirely certain why that is, other than maybe the closer it is, the better, I guess. I can see that the closer this gets to this other flag, I guess you could call it, the better it gets. The farther away it gets, now it seems to decrease the number. There, you see the faces that are creating that decrease. So the only thing I can think of is, there's numbers being fed to this right here. And if I were to add a math, where's the math? Oh, there. And then say in the multiply, and yeah, so I'm multiplying by half and see what that does. No, I'm going to multiply by 2 there. Yeah, that's unfortunate. There, it's still, even though I've used this to manipulate, the range of this ramp, and it's at constant, right? I'm trying to think right now what would change that a little bit, but doesn't matter. I'm going to leave it like that for now. Yeah, I'm just thinking right now, then my cartoon is going to have all sorts of these lines all over the place because that's what I'm doing. I'm doing something similar. I should just check and scrutinize that. Didn't pay attention. I'm going to leave that like that because this is just silliness. I mean, the whole video here, for me, it's good stuff. It's like pop art. And I remember when I was younger, I used to think that pop art was the, dumbest thing, because I'm thinking the art that was popular, popular art and so on. And now I see exactly, because I kind of get the idea of it now, the pop art, because I'm basically taking something that is very popular, which is that label, and I'm trying to be funny with it and create art with it and that kind of stuff. So I would consider this to be pop art there. All of that I could have avoided if I had just drawn these by hand and moved the curves around. I would have probably already been done, not just with that, but with the other stuff that I've done here. Okay, well, enough of that. Shift F9. I'll figure out some other time. Shift F5. Some other time how to get rid of that little, effect that's happening there. When I zoom out, it seems to be okay, but it still bugs me just knowing that it's there. This is also not good. It seems to be reacting to the light because it has the same color. Okay, so I need to I adopted the same color, and it seems to have modified that color as well. Okay, so I need to find that. So it's using tomato red, but I don't want tomato red. There should be another red. Yeah, I didn't hit the number. I forgot there's a little difference in that it carries over, but the red is gone because I had another user. So I'm going to go to the green and then hit that and call that red so that it stays. And since I close the file and it'll open the other files, what Blender does is it dumps whatever's doesn't have a object that is using it. And so I get to work double. Actually, I also get to work double because I took a break. I had lunch, watched a movie, hung out, did all sorts of other stuff, and then I came back. And then I forgot what I had been researching. Like that dark red. Okay. There. It's a little too dark. Okay, control save. Now here's what I wonder if I want to rotate. Let me see, rotate X. I'm going to rotate it some more. Rotate X. No. Yeah, rotate X. Rotate on the X axis a little bit more. And grab it in the Y. So it runs into that. Okay. I don't even know if I want to go into that right now because the video is getting pretty long. It's probably already at the 2 hours. Break included. It's at the 5 with a break included. Let me see. The leaves also have some sort of, 3D aspect to it with the shading. But I think even this seems to be darker on the outside edges. But I guess I have to finish with the text here, and then I'll call it good. Oh, and then it needs some leaves in here. So, Shift Z. Okay, not Shift Z. It is this Z. I'm gonna hide that one, or move it to the second. Doesn't it move? Doesn't it hide? Doesn't it move? So I'm gonna go level 1. Oh. She snap U just to put the cursor there, the cursor in the same plane as that apple, that tomato apple. Let me see if I can ensure that that's no longer a tomato apple. Oh, no, it needs the local coordinates. How do I get the local? There. Scale, shift, Y. I guess these need to be fatter over here. Scale, shift, Y. There. So it's fatter, so it's not entirely the shape of an apple. This got bigger. Way bigger. I don't like it. Every time I'm too close, and I need to get close to see. And then I get too close and I can't get this. There. Back to the whole hang up here with the tomato and the lens. It looks like the edges of a lens, right, of a camera lens, a lens flare. I need to add, tab out. I need to add a curve. I've never experimented with some of these other curve, it's like angle, arc, circle. So many other stuff that I have to play with. Knots. So there's knots. I should play with all this stuff. I'm so used to just doing simple, dumb stuff. Okay, there's a curve there somewhere. that needs to curve around this apple. Tomato apple. Who cares if it's a tomato, if it's an apple anyways, because it is a vegetable paste. I keep undoing what I'm doing because I have the proportional editing, which is kind of dumb. Okay. Yeah, more or less to look like it's round. Maybe further. Okay, so there's the center of that curve. And then I'm going to duplicate that one. And I think if I Alt-P, clear the parents, I don't want it to have anything. It had a modifier and a I don't think it had a parent with anything else. But then this one, I want it to say whatever it says right there. I think it says grown, not made, barely legible. And tab. This will be rendered. Not made. Tab. Scale it down. Probably right there. Scale in the Y. And I'm going to snap the selection to the cursor. And then here I'm going to add the curve. That one. That doesn't look very good. Let me grab it. Why is it so far off? Grab. It is too distorted. Let me see if I can mess with the letter spacing. But it looks very distorted. I wonder what happens. W subdivide. No, that doesn't really help it. Actually, it does. No, the same thing. Yeah, I wonder why so much of a distortion. Yeah, I'm scaling it down just to see if that'll help, but not really. let me just get rid of the curve again. Let me fix this again. As I'm doing this, I'm trying to make sure that some of these are as equally spaced as possible, hoping that that's not something that's going to be distorting it a whole lot. Okay. Well, what happens if I change the cursor here? So it should be 0. No, it's not about that. I'm just going to eyeball it. Change the cursor here. Selection to the cursor. I'm thinking maybe changing the origins a little bit might work. Might help with the distortion. But not really. Not really helping. Nope. Yeah, it doesn't seem to affect any if I move the text around. All I need is a result. So, what's the best way that I can get there? Using Blender for what it was not intended. Yeah, I think it's just one of those limitations. It doesn't look good at all. Yeah, no, I mean, I could separate these out. That's the thing about this. I could use another piece of software, another software package, and get better results faster. And, sometimes I think, why not, right? Which I've thought about it. I'm just going to break down and buy the Adobe suite. But then other times I was like, I'd rather take... It's, I was talking to somebody about how much that costs because they're using it for rendering their videos, doing videos and so on. This doesn't make any sense to me right now that the curve is so far down and this thing is like this. The only thing I can think of in terms of the distortion is that the text is not about the center. If I were to select the text, and even though it's justified in the vertical center, maybe it's not, and I were to do an offset. That's not helping anything. Oh, that's cool. I wonder if I could animate that. It's like a slinky. No. Neither. And there's the words. Nope. Yeah, that's the only thing that occurs to me. The center of this one, I've moved it all over the place now. It's not in the same center. Which you would think they would have some sort of relationship. Unless, of course, I scaled this one and I did not apply a scale. It does not have a scale to apply. See. Control Z. So as soon as I apply the location, it just goes all, this one went somewhere else because it's being told, to go somewhere else. No, the scale is applied. There you go. The scale is at 1,1 for this curve. Oh well. It's going to have to be this awkward, this weird. Because I'm not going to separate the text. I'm not going to do that. Not for this long video. Rendered, not made. I have to stay like that until I learn how to use Blender. And the other one is the final text. I'm just thinking. The final text, so I can put this. It's got a couple of things here. 300 millimeters and so on. Milliliters, I'm sorry. In grams. And that's in red. I'm going to use the Arial text the same as these, but Shift duplicate in the Y. Down here, Alt P, clear the parent. And I'm going to change that color to the red. The font is not what I want. They're not even Arial fonts. I keep calling it an Arial font, and it's not. Every time I've done a search here, there it is. That one. Come on. Come on. They all start with an A. Open the font. It's italic. Oh, that's how you get italics. Aha. Aha. Figured it out. Blender Pretender. 1 point for me. 3 hours later. This is the narrow one right here. Okay, that one. And I'm going to say, in this case, I'm going to use information from over here. It's got 0 verts. Do I still have, because I do have it right there. Have it open, file open. And that bottle has one. What? No, it doesn't have that many verts. So it's got 298 verts. So I'm going to add, in terms of contents, right? It says E, it's got a big E, and then 300. What was it again? It was 298. So 298 V. That's a little small V. It's gonna look like probably like a battery. 200 vertex VX. Vertex for vertexes. Or is it VT? Let me try VT. That's a unit of measurement, which is the equivalent of, in terms of faces, or 298, 592 edges, faces 297, tries 582. So I'm going to just go 592E. Dash 592 E. I'm going to put a small g. E. Come on. E. G. So I thought I cleared the parent. I didn't clear the parent, but now it is. Grab. So there it is. X tab. I'm going to put the E, the little e. There. Rendered not made. I don't like that. That needs to be done. I need to figure out a way to make those curves better or something. And then the little tomato has... I wonder if it needs to be bigger. Don't know. I wonder if I even want to mess with these. Meaning that one right there. Let me see. Shift F5. And then Shift F3. So let me try this again. That's the green. And I want to hit that number. So it has its own now. And I'm going to call it line green. But what I'm going to do with the vine green is the exact same thing that I did with the tomato red. Copy. So I did Control C for copy. And then the vine green. delete that, and then Control V. But with the vine green, okay, first of all, I don't need that one. But with that one, I'm going to start turning them just green. I'll just use the color picker. It's not looking all right because it has the object. It's using the empty. Let me just move this over here. And it was the normal. I'm going to go 0.5, see if that helps me. It doesn't want to. I'm going to go with the linear. Oh, no wonder. Now I'm multiplying one times the other. I wonder what that does. Nothing. Control. Cut that. Put that in there. Not quite what I'm looking for. And I just didn't want the, it seems to be adopting the same as the object. Not really what I was looking for. But here's what I'm going to do. Just to test, Control Save. I'm going to duplicate that one and move it to the 10th layer. And then that one, I'm going to turn into a mesh. I'm wondering if the fact that it's a curve, it's just, you know, I'm not sure that it'll be the generated texture coordinate. Still doing the same thing. I don't have any UVs on that. There's no object. Let's just give it a try. There, reflection. That worked. I think that's the reflection having to do with the camera. Or the view. Okay, there. I'm going to bring those down just a little bit. Now, that one, grab Z, bring it up. Control Save. That tomato could be a little bit bigger. And then these, Let me see. How hard? How difficult, huh? How difficult? Shift F9. Shift F5 here. How difficult all of this? What I'm going to do is take all of these, move them again to the 10th layer, and then take all of these. I wonder if it does it for all of these at the same time. Mesh. It did. It did do it. No, that's a face. That turned into a face. It's going to be a dirty, dirty operation here. I'm going to go Control Join. Tab into every single one of them. Grab the extrude. Basically extruding that. It barely finds them. If I do a bevel, no, I'm going to run into problems. Control R. There. You know, I might not even have to do that. I could probably just round it out. Let me tab this, go to the 0, take that one. And in the curves themselves, what I was trying to do is give it some depth, but I think maybe if I... What am I selecting? Is that one? So, okay, so in the extrude, there you go. And then yeah, it doesn't want to behave. Something weird is happening when I try to do that. Extrude. It happens with these curves. It's not perfect. So that's not working. Okay, back to the first layer where I did this. Take that object, Shift H, so I can work with it, Tab. Do the same thing with these, Control R, Control R, Control R. So, with the face selection, I'm going to do a box select. Select only the top ones and the bottom ones. So I should really have all the top and the bottom faces selected with the individual origins selected. I'm going to scale them all in, and then Control 2, and then smooth. Let's see what Control 1. Not behaving very well. That's because it had a lot of vertices. The thing that had occurred to me to do instead of this was to open up the curve and then just turn it into, just turn it into a mesh, a bunch of lines in the mesh. And then go to this procedure, H. Okay, so it's still, shadeless the way that they are right now. But Shift F5 over here. What if let's see what kind of texture I'm going to get if I take those. And at this point, they would have to be on their own, another kind of green. Got 9 users for that? What, 9 users? I call it leaf green. Yeah, I think that's how you spell leaf. Okay, I'm going to go to the vine green. Either use the vine green or the red and then turn it green and see what it does. I'm going to use the vine green and I'm going to select everything. Copy. Well, forget it. Let's just make it easy. I'll go vine green. I'll go, yeah, just keep it at the vine green, both of these. It's an interesting result. Not nice. Not very nice. Even with this, I went back and I had a subdivision modifier and I just took it off right now. Even with that, it's not very good. So that was the vine green, right? Copy. Go back to the leaf green. X everything, Control V, paste everything. Zoom in here and mess with it ever so slightly like that. That seems to work with these, with the exception of these lines through here. Control 1, no, Control 1. Hey, that actually looks somewhat artistic. Not a whole lot. Add another one. I think I put it in between. I'm gonna grab that one, put it over here. Turn it white. Okay, come on. Yeah, well, there's other stuff that could be done with that if I really wanted to mess with it. Some more than this right now, but I'll leave it like that right now. That's because it's a ugly mesh, but that can be cleaned up to where it's doing something nicer. I wonder what happens if I shove this in. Nothing. Camera. There are other things I can add to this to make it. What if I go and I get a Fresnel? Nope. Nope. Then what if I go and I get that may be worth moving some of these around, because then since they're so far to the end, I might not be able to see anything that they're being generated. This being generated. I'm going to scale them some more. I'm going to leave it at that. That is the label for this one. And what I can do is grab everything and try to scale everything uniformly, but instead of that, what I could do is change the camera. Where's the camera? Well, I need to, number one, be on the 0 layer. Is it on or not? Let me see. Because, I mean, there it's on. Got it. And I can just change the scale. Grab Y. And render it. Was not expecting this. I was not expecting that outline. Oh, the outline is because it's rendering in the. It is rendering the layer. Escape that, and in the 0 layer, there's that one. All of these, I need to make sure they don't render. And here I'm going to go select it. Make sure they don't render. Okay. Escape again. 1, Shift 0, F12. Kind of ugly. You can tell that it's just lines that are being drawn. These are small, tiny compared to what's here. The other one comes around a lot. So there's plenty of stuff that can be done. A lot of work for this little supposed pop art label. But that's what I've done, and that's what I'm sticking to. It's already a very, very long video. It's going to be 2.5 hour long video. I'm going to leave it like this for now. And let me zoom in right there. I'm going to leave it like this for now. Next video, I'm going to just use this to paste it onto the bottle. Anyways, I have fun doing this kind of stuff. I know it gets long. You know, sometimes it's a what do you call it? A swing and a miss as to whether I'm going to be productive, whether I'm going to be doing anything cool or whatever. Which I think it's cool. I like working with Blender, but you know that everybody would be interested in. But anyways, this is the amount of time it takes to do this kind of work. And with that, that's what I'm going to, at least for me and with Blender and with the free software, you know. I'm going to leave it at that. And thank you very much for watching. And the next video, I'll just apply this as a texture to what I plan to do. By the way, I'm going to render it again. I need to make sure that it's transparent. So it has the alpha channel, and then the transparency won't come through when I apply it. But this is it for now. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.